Welcome to the Strategic Motivator Show with our special guest, Master Community Builder, and Launch and Profit Strategist, Aprille Franks. This episode's featured book is Collect the Cash.
Welcome to the Strategic Motivator Show. I am here, your host, Bryson Talmadge, the Strategic Motivator, and I'm here today with Aprille Franks.
Woo.
Welcome, Aprille.
Thanks for having me.
Woo, woo. All right, she's getting it started already. I am so excited. Well, let me tell you why we're here. We are the Strategic Motivator Show, and we are motivating the world to be more strategic because we believe that operating without a strategy is just operating in failure. So we are here today to bring you people who are really making their strategy outstanding, who are not just talking about it, but they're living it and they're breathing it. And so if you don't know, Aprille Franks is a premier entrepreneur and influencer. She has 18,000 followers on Facebook alone and many more that have been through her programs. She is an author. She is a producer of a film. She has a wonderful and heart-touching story about how she got started. And she's here today with us, so I'm just very excited. And one of the things I like to do is I told you a little bit about her, but I want to tell her a little bit about you, our audience. And once I do that, she will also introduce herself because we know as part of your strategy is making sure that you target your audience. So let me tell you a little bit about us.
Yes.
We are leaders. We are those who work in the C-suite. I have had the privilege of working in both the federal sector and the private sector, and also the nonprofit sector. And I have seen in the federal some of our highest leaders operate. And one of the things I learned is that if you don't operate with a strategy, you will not be successful. So as I go out and speak to audiences, I always say this: in order to be successful, you must have a strategy. And I have them repeat that because I think it's really, really important. And so watching them, I was able to see some people succeed, some people fail. And our audience, again, are people who are those leaders who have gotten to a certain point but really want to refine their strategy. They are also people who are trying to get to that point and need to have that strategy in place. And we believe it's both personal and professional development. So sometimes you've got the professional going, but your life is all in shambles, right? Sometimes you've got your life going good, but your professional's all in shambles. And sometimes they're both a little bit in shambles. So we like to bring in people who we know are working it out.
Yeah.
And I am really, really great admirer of you. You are my personal mentor that you didn't even know.
Thank you so much.
So tell us a little bit about you from your perspective and what you think this audience needs to know.
Well, Robin, first of all, thanks for having me. I love being on platforms like this that give us the opportunity to share and to really hear from people that are out there doing things that can help you mitigate some of the mistakes that we've made and kind of what to look out for. I'm definitely a strategist. I love leveraging influence and being online. I enjoy working with people that really want to dominate and just crush it at what they're doing. You already know that.
Absolutely.
One of the things I'm really passionate about in working with experts and speakers and influencers is, making the decision that you're going to dominate or die trying, and you've got to be that committed to whatever it is that you're wanting to do. Our community online, Domination Nation, that's where the 18,000 people are. I got more followers than that.
Yes, I was just telling you that one.
Yes, but the reason why it's so important to put yourself out there and to connect with people is because we have something important to say. And this is a form of transformation, right? So people get to watch us and they get to listen and we get to impart different things. So for me, that's really what I'm passionate about, is people taking the next step. So hopefully I say something today that puts people into action in some way, even if it's just one nugget that makes a big difference.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And again, thank you for being here.
Yes.
So one of the things I say in my book is what strategy is. And this book is called Entrepreneurial Elevation. We went to #1 bestseller on Amazon in motivational business. I'm super excited about that. But I I say what I think strategy is, because a lot of people think that strategy is having a mission statement or having a vision statement. So before I say what I think it is, Aprille, what do you consider, like if you were just to say, hey, this is strategy, what is it to you?
Yeah, to me, I think for me, strategy is really about being intentional about the objective. You know, what is the roadmap to accomplishing a goal? You know, and so that's what it is to me, and that's kind of the point, right? I think people do a lot of things ambiguously, just because they want to be out there, they want to be doing something. But when you really set an intention, and then you say, okay, these are the mile markers, you know, to get to this intention, then it all makes sense, and then strategy starts to come together. As opposed to, you know, someone that says, because you can have two people that say, I want to do this and I want to do that, but there's plenty of people that still haven't wrote the book. Right. They want to write a book, but they don't really know the strategy in order to do that, or the strategy to publish, or the strategy to reach number one, or the strategy to get those first 100 sales. And so I think really being intentional, you know, is a really big part of being strategic.
Absolutely, and that's a big nugget, and I will say that to all of you, intentional, because, you know, a lot of people want to have, even though Aprille has a huge audience, but they want to have at least those 18,000 that she has in that one particular niche that she has. And they are wondering why the people aren't coming to them, why they aren't getting the tribe. She can help you figure that out, just so you know. But in my chapter, it says, strategize what you visualize and optimize your success is the name of my chapter. And the one thing I say is, it is when your business has the right people doing the right things at the right time for the right reason to obtain the right results. So we talked about that. Aprille also talked about that objective. So you may be out there doing live videos, but if your objective is just to reach, you know, those in your audience, how will you know that you reached enough people to convert into whatever it is you're trying to get to, your ultimate objective? And those are the things that are super important. So what would you say is your key to success that you would maybe give someone who's just starting in your industry?
I'm consistent.
Okay.
Period. I'm consistent. So where I think people fall off, I think people allow a lot of things to validate their reason for not being where they are. So whether they got sick, they got fired, they missed a promotion, they got a divorce, somebody died, somebody was born, they gained weight, they lost a tooth, they didn't feel like it. I think people allow those excuses to knock them off of them being consistent. And I have been online every single day since February the 13th, 2011.
Wow.
And that's when I started my platform on utilizing Facebook. And I think, so consistency, period, hands down. Now, there's a lot of things that come after that, but none of it would make a difference if I wasn't consistent. People know that they can trust me in the brand because I'm not a here today, gone tomorrow, or I'm having a bad day CEO, so I can't show up.
Okay. So this is awesome. Consistency is the key. So what would you tell people to stop doing that you think is an ineffective part of their strategy?
Following so many people.
Okay. And I heard you say that actually,
Yeah.
I think on one of your lives the other day. She said, you know what, I have a lot of friends who do really good work, but I don't follow them at all.
I don't. Hide. Not even snooze for 30 days. We just gonna hide you altogether. Because your real friends, you can pick up the phone and call.
Absolutely.
You know, I don't need to be connected to my best friend on Facebook to know what's going on in her life, right? Facebook is a segment of what people are willing to share, or any social platform. So for me, I think people get confused because they're following too many people, so they're not really being led.
Gotcha.
Right? And so leadership is really important. So when you're looking for a leader to follow for a specific, it would be like you going to it's like when you're looking for a church home, right? And it would be like you going to 5 churches on Sunday. You're trying to meet the 7 o'clock service, the 8 o'clock service over here, the 9 o'clock service, the 11:30 service. You don't know whose leadership you're following. And leaders are different, and they're teaching different things for specific reasons. And so I think that's really a big thing. People doing too much. I think another thing, can I give another thing?
I'll give a lot.
Okay, so I think
Thank you. The audience agrees. Thank you so much.
I think another thing people are doing is utilizing, not being strategic, which is to our conversation, and doing a lot of things and calling it success or calling it progress. And just because you're busy doesn't mean you're progressing.
Absolutely.
And,
So
yeah.
one of the things she talked about yesterday, if I'm telling you, if you just don't follow her, you're really not getting nuggets. And I'm the same way. I don't follow everybody, but I do follow her because I see a lot of wisdom, right? So you got to make sure that you follow somebody who's giving you some wisdom, and it makes sense. So one of the things she said is, why pretend you're having an audience if you don't have an audience?
Hurt the people.
And I thought that was true. So let me just be transparent. You know, as we're starting this, I am so blessed to get this influencer here today, but I am starting this audience, and that's you. If you're here, you're listening, let me tell you why you are my audience. You are my audience because you want to be on point. You want to go do things without a strategy. You don't just want to wake up every day and just say, oh, I hope this works out, or oh, I hope things are going well. You actually want to have a goal that you're going to. Because what happens then is, as you wake up and you have 10 things to do, you can decide which one of those things are going to get you to your strategy. And hopefully you knew before you went to sleep which one you were going to pursue anyway. But things will come up and you will get those opportunities, as I get this blessed opportunity today.
Well, thank you.
And you will be able to say, yes, that's something I want to do. All right, so just to make sure that I utilize your time well, we are going to play what's called the Strategic Motivator game.
Sure.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess. Am I ready?
And now more about our strategic book of the episode.
Here it is, Collect the Cash. It is the #1 must-have book for cash collections as a business owner. The book, Collect the Cash, will teach you how to stop leaving money on the table. After all, collections are uncomfortable for everyone. Customers are dodging collection calls. See, what had happened was, and the sale is not complete until the money is in the bank, but you must collect it first. So go ahead and grab your copy now at www.collectthecash.biz/books. Grab your book today and stop leaving money on the table.
Thanks to our sponsor, Collect the Cash. Now let's return to the Strategic Motivator Show with Aprille Franks.
So the Strategic Motivator game is going to give you 2 options.
Okay.
And you are going to talk about which one of those options you most relate with, and which one you think is either true or untrue. You can pick whichever one you like to talk about more.
Okay.
All right, so people always say fake it till you make it. That's option number 1. Okay, so people believe that. That's something that they really have been ingrained into them, and some people are out there doing it. They're faking it till they make it. Other people say, learn until you earn, right? So you should always be out there learning, getting the information, the validation, so that you can earn and get the results. Aprille.
Okay, well, fake it till you make it, I hate. So I always say faith it till you make it.
Love it.
So I'll go with the second one.
Okay.
Yeah, the second one, which was, you said learn until you earn.
Learn until you earn.
I will say earn as you learn. I will
Okay.
say that. So so what that means to me is, because you don't have to see, it's different, right? It's like, I think what happens is, because most of the people that are following you probably are degreed, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so that means that you were taught and you were conditioned to believe that you had to do a thing before you can make money. You had to do a thing before you can get in position, and that's not the world I live in. I live in the world where you could be learning and earning as you go, and you can perfect it along the way. It doesn't have to be like this before you can actually launch something out there. And you're listening to a person who, I don't have a degree, and I don't have a desire for a degree. This is something I'm very public about. What I have a desire for is progression, and I have a desire for success and abundance, and what are the things that put me in alignment with accomplishing those things. And so I think that people should be earning and learning at the same time. Yeah.
Well, I think she already answered the question for the number 2 game.
Oh,
but
did
that's
I
okay.
answer the question?
But this is awesome.
I didn't even know what the question was.
Because here's the thing: when you know you are on point with something, when someone always confirms it, right? So here's the next question. Even though you already answered it, maybe you can just give a little bit more information.
Yeah, sure.
Perfection or progress?
Oh, I'm definitely not about perfection. Perfection is for your ego. It's not for anyone. No one is expecting perfection. Like, I'm not that chick. You know, I'm just not. Like, you know, I'm enjoying my life. It is imperfectly perfect as it is. You know, I'm all over the place. I'm totally disorganized. I have a team that helps me, you know, do what I do. But I'm great at what I do, at the skill that I do and helping people. You know, I'm great at that. And so definitely not perfection. Progress to me is everything. And because I'm gonna build a parachute on the way down, girl.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think that people, here's the thing. First of all, there are no perfect people. Even in our systems and our strategy, it's gonna be as perfect as we think it is, because this is what we think. This is what we have a desire to occur. Well, once you put in factors, which is typically human factors, there's unpredictable components. There's assumptions that you may make in a strategy that may prove to be true or not true or different or what have you. And so then you have to be able to pivot, right? You have to be able to assess what's happening. And to me, as long as you're moving forward, we're doing good. As long as, because remember, this is this glass right here. This is the objective, is to get here. So as long as we're moving forward and we're learning, and so when we do this thing again, then we get to refine that.
Absolutely.
You know, until we get to as perfect of a place. And I can give you an example.
Please.
I taught a class last night. We've been working on this for 2 months. It's a whole kind of a launch process. I can't even tell you how many man hours and how many people. And the one little thing was our system was set on Pacific time. Well, some of our team that works on the automation is in Eastern time.
Oh, wow.
So a couple of our triggers went out in Pacific time because I'm in Pacific time. Right? Which sent out notifications too early, like 3 hours early. Right? And so ding, 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 great strategy, great progress and process, but there was this little component that we didn't consider at all. Like, no one considered, oh, when you set this thing up, it was in this time zone versus this over here, right? And so now we correct course. And so now that's been corrected, that won't happen again.
That will never happen again.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And then we move on to the next thing. Now we run into something else. And to me, it's like, this is real easy, especially if you're in corporate or we're in corporate. That's what policies are made of. Something happened, and now there's a policy. Right? Or something.
We're not going to let anybody do that again. We got sued.
Okay,
And we're not going to get sued again.
Somebody at HR is like getting it together. Right? And so, but that's what it is. Something happened or didn't happen that was supposed to. Something needed to be communicated. And so now we have a policy. Now we have a rule. Now we have a procedure for that. And so progress always over perfection.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I say absolutely a lot, so I'm going to try not to say it as much. This is just me being transparent. But I noticed that on my other videos. So one of the things I will say with that, what we do with our clients is we actually set what's called key performance indicators. So you know what you are going after. You want to hit this mark or this many clicks per whatever, or you want to make this much revenue or profit, whatever those things are. Guess what? You have no idea if you can do it. Some people say go high, some people say go low, but my thing is you want to try to hit that target. If you go above, then you can, like she said, course correct. But you won't know if you can do it at all.
Absolutely.
Until you go after it. So it's really important not only to have a strategy, have some objectives that you want, but to monitor that to see what works. Because that first strategy that you set may not get you to that goal that you actually wanted. So great input. All right, so just one more question before we wrap up.
Okay.
You're very successful.
Can
Go
I say
ahead.
one more thing?
Yes.
Well, I wanted to say in regards to that, I think people have to recognize, like, this is a forever thing, right? If you decide you're going to be an entrepreneur, if you're doing this or that, this isn't just for today. And people have to recognize that, you know, for example, the example I gave last night about the 409 cleaner.
I love that.
The 409 cleaner, we grew up on 409.
Yes.
But the reason why it's called 409 is because they tried it 408 times, the solution 408 times, and it didn't clean the stuff. It didn't cut the grease.
Didn't get the dirt.
Right? It didn't get the dirt until the 409th time. And I want people to remember that. It's like, it's a process. And if you're in it and you're committed to the objective, like the reason why you're doing it, then it makes it easy to say, okay, this isn't a failure. This is just a part of me failing my way to success. This is just a part of this process. It's almost like, if you have a bad day in traffic, you're gonna not go to work.
Right.
Sorry,
doesn't work for me.
Sorry, yeah, I'm done. There's a flat tire, let's just throw the whole car away. Right? We're not doing that.
No.
And I think people have to remember that. It's like there's gonna be so many things. It's like your business, your goals, your entrepreneurial vision, it has a life of its own. And there's things that are experienced in that life, just like your regular life, that will cause you to knock you off your center. But then there's all these amazing things like this platform and you all working with Robin that helps you elevate. And those are those wins and that positivity, and then there's, again, things that will happen. But you got to realize, just like your personal life, you're not just giving up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know what that reminds me of is that I started following Aprille when she was with, I think, Coach and Speak. Then it was Coach Speak and Serve.
Mm-hmm.
Now she's doing
Domination Nation.
But before it was Influencer Domination. Yeah. And the thing is, she does what works.
Yeah.
She's not worried if she hurt your feeling because you missed Coach Speak and Serve or this, that, and the other. And I've seen her say that, and it's just such a good lesson, especially for all of you guys who are out there who are like, I have to be perfect. It has to stay this name. People won't believe. The people who are getting served by you will follow you and stay with you.
Because they're following you.
And what you're bringing to them.
Absolutely.
You're helping them. Yeah. So that's really helped me a lot. That's helped me to do this today and to say, okay, well, I really don't know if I want to do this, but hey, I'm going to do this. So if this is something that is really resonating with you, please reach out to me. Again, you can reach out to me at Strategic Motivator on Twitter, on Instagram, and it's Strategic Motivator, that's MOTV8R. All right, so Strategic MOTV8R. So how can we reach you?
Everywhere on social media, just type in Epic Aprille, APRILLE, at your platform of choice. The places where I love to play is Facebook. I dibble dabble on Instagram a little bit, but Facebook is really my jam.
All right. Well, thank you so much again for your time. We really appreciate it. All right. Thank you.
That's it.
This episode's featured book is Collect the Cash. Watching on YouTube? Make sure to like and subscribe.